to the Racing Post weekend tipping postcast. I'm Sam Laurie, standing in for Bruce this weekend. I'm joined in the studio by Ed Quigley and on Skype from Ireland by David Jennings and Paddy Power. There's lots to get through this weekend. We'll be looking ahead to Super Saturday at Newbury, the Betfair Hurdle, of course the feature race there, but it's also the return of Altior and Native River. Good card at Warwick on ITV2 and some decent action in Britain and Ireland on Sunday to look ahead to. But we'll get straight on then with the big betting race of the weekend, the Betfair Hurdle. And Paddy, how are you betting on this one?
Yeah, it's well, Jenkins is a favourite at 8-1, so it's a pretty open field, so it's a good place to start. Cape Grace is 10-1 along with Layler, Irish Row. Blue Rouge is 12s beside Verdana Blue and Kalashnikov and Knock on Noose as well. And Waterlord 12-1, Silver Streak 12-1, 14 Highbridge and Lockderg Spirit, and 16 and bigger the rest. So yeah, so 8-1 the field, so wide open. Yeah,
hugely competitive, Ted. At this stage, anything that jumped out of you immediately here?
Yeah, I mean, it's arguably one of the most competitive renewals of this race for a decade, I'd say. You can make a case for pretty much over half the field. But no, I tipped Laylor anti-post for this race in the Racing Post and RFO, and offer marker 137. I do think there's got to be more to come. Lightly raced, has had its win looked at since its last run, and I think that's a horse definitely on the up. You could argue whether its form has been let down to some extent by a couple of the horses it's raced against recently, but nonetheless, I do like the unexposed profile, and it does get in here off a light mark.
What about any at big prices?
Yeah, if there was
known
one
as long shot,
yeah,
Ted,
indeed.
I was expecting a massive price,
bonkers price in here. It would be Divin Bear for Paul Nicholls, Sam Twister Davies. He's at 33.40 to 1 or something absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he was beating the neck in Fred Winter, and I saw him in the paddock on his last run at Ascot and his comeback since he's transferred from Nicky Henderson to Paul Nicholls. And I think, rather like myself, Sam, it'd be fair to say he was carrying a bit of condition. I think, to be honest with you, he looked like he'd be badly in need of a run and travelled well for most of the race, and then just went out like a light in the home straight. But he's been dropped £4 for that. He's now down to 144, and he's starting to become of interest from a handicapping perspective. You know, he's a horse of a touch of class, as I said, just touched off on the line at the Cheltenham Festival not that long ago, still lightly raced, and I would expect that horse to come on a lot from that run. I mean, he's really weak in the betting. I think he almost doubled in price on the morning of the race, so I clearly expect a lot more from him with Sam Twister on at a big price. I
wonder what the reaction at Seven Barrows would be there if Nicky Henderson's got 5 in the race and one of his ex-horses goes and does it. So David, what's your take on the Betfair Hurdle?
Yeah, it's obviously a wide open affair, and you can make cases for any number of them, but I'm going to do my best impression of Longshot Ted and tip a big outsider here. I fancy Cor Blimey to run a big race for Sue and Lucy Gardner. When I went through this race earlier on in the week, like, you can obviously make cases for so many, and of the ones towards the top of the market, I thought Verdana Blue had a great chance if the ground was a little bit quicker. But Cor Blimey, the reason I think this horse is a big chance is I go back to the Lanzarote at Kempton, which I thought was arguably the hottest handicap hurdle of the season so far. It was won by William Henry. Top of the Game has come out and won since. And I know Red Indian was beaten during the week, but it ran quite well, I thought, at Toaster. And Cor Blimey, that day, circled the field on the home turn, went from being about 8th. Lucy went around the whole outside and almost took it up at the second last and made a little bit of a mistake. The problem with this horse is it's not a good jumper, and that might patch it out. But if it does get into a rhythm, I think 2 miles around Ascot could be perfect. Around Newbury, sorry. Yeah, good spot. And I think a flat track, I think 2 miles. I think 2 mile 5 was an experiment that almost worked. It probably gets about 2 mile 2 or 2 mile 3. Like, if you go back into his bumper form, he beat Ballyandy in a listed bumper at Ascot, and the plotting shed was behind it that day as well. It's got cheek pieces on for the first time. I think this horse, it's one of these horses that I think has loads of ability, and we haven't seen the best of its ability yet. And I think cheek pieces will help it concentrate better. I just go back to that move in the Lanzarote around the home turn. I thought the horse had to have extreme ability to go from where it did to where it was at second last. I think the drop to 2 miles off the same mark at 132 with Lucy taking off £3. It's 25 to 1 at the minute with Paddy Power. It could even be bigger tomorrow morning. So I'm going to take a stab each way on Cor Blimey.
Perfect. 25 to 1 each way then for David Jennings, Cor Blimey in the Betfair Hurdle. Paddy, what's your take on it?
Yeah, funny, we should be doing a combination exactor forecast or something, because the two lads are both on 25 to 1 shots, and I actually quite fancy William H. Bonney, 16-1, because I just thought that the little break that he travels so well in his race, and I just think the little break that he's had might have freshened him up a little bit. And also Alan King just had a few winners just on the board recently, so he looks like he'll be going right back into form. And I just thought, it's one of those races, isn't it? Like, you can make a case for about 10 or 12 of them, as they all said. So it's one of those races where you pick a big price, back them each way, and be greedy. Do the forecast, the TriCast between the three we've said.
Brilliant. So, plenty at big prices then in the Betfair Hurdle. Moving on to the 150, the opening race on ITV on Saturday. It's going to be a recurring theme through the day, the return of an old star. Barters Hill, last seen in action back in November 2016. He takes his chance in the 150. And Paddy, what price is he?
Yeah, he's 7-2. It's 7-2 each of himself and Bastion, another Alan King horse. And it's 5-1 Lochder Farmer and King Uther. 7-1 and the Eagle has landed. 8-1 Talk is Cheap. 10-1 Book of Gold and 14 Indian Stream. But yeah, Barters Hill is going to be all the talk and all the focus here. And to be honest with you, you'd love to see him come back and put up a big performance and hopefully win, because he might just be freshened up for the festival, that kind of way. So he'd probably come on a lot for this, I would imagine. But Ben Pauling just kind of coming back into form again, speaking of trainers in form. So I think Barters Hill is the one you'll be watching in the race. It's hard to know just how forward he is, but I think keep an eye on him and with maybe the festival in mind.
Is he a backable price?
At 7-2, he might be worth it, because at his best he'd be much shorter than that in this race, wouldn't he? So I think I think he probably is. It's probably worth it. It's speculative few quid rather than a get stuck in price thing.
Mm-hmm. And Ed, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I'm a Barters Hill fan for this. Off 142, Grade 1 winner in the handicap. Listening to Ben Pauling, it sounds like they have got a lot of work into him because basically they say he needs to show enough in this, with the aim being the Stayers Hurdle. So there's no point of going to have him running here
turning
with
up
a lot to work on,
yeah,
because they won't know either way. So I imagine he'd been entered up on a lot of races throughout January and February, and I think they've just been getting as much work as they can into him to get him cherry ripe for this. And the old ability may not be there after injury, but he's still lightly raced. As I said, he's a Grade 1 winner in a handicap off 142, and the Ben Pauling yard are starting to really hit top gear at the moment. So yeah, he's good enough for me at his price.
Okay, David, Ted thinks class will out then in the 150. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think you're getting an incredible price about finding out if Barters Hill is as good as he was. Let's be honest about it. This is a terrible race, and you're getting to find out at 7-2. Like, it'd be a different story if you're trying to find out at 6-4. But 5 of his last 13 runners have won. Now I know we're doing this on Friday before racing, but 5 of his last 13 runners, Ben Paulings, have won going into Friday. All the vibes from the yard seem to suggest that Barters Hill is showing all his old zest. He's off a mark of 142. Like, he was 150 going into the Albert Bartlett back in the March before last, and he's gone really well fresh in the past. So everything suggests that Barters Hill will show us something, and if he shows us anything at all, he'll bloody win this race. So I think 7-2. As I said already, I think 7-2 is a great price to find out. If you're wrong, what about it? You're getting 7-2, but I wouldn't be one bit surprised if we went off about 7-4.
Okay, so a clean sweep then for the guys in the Barters Hill in the 150. What about another returning hero then in the 225? Native River heads 3 runners in the Betfair Denman chase. What price is Paddy?
Yeah, so Native River's odds on 8-11, Cloudy Dream 9-4, and Sapphire Daru 9-2. I'll be interested to see whether DJ's willing to have a look at Native River at 8-11 in this race. Now, just to, if you want to give me my own opinion first, I think Cloudy Dream, you got to back Cloudy Dream probably. It's the main danger. Race fitness is going to count for a lot here. And both Sapphire Daru and Native River obviously have Gold Cups in mind. And both ran well last year in the Gold Cup. Not to be forgotten, and Native River is having a great preparation for the Gold Cup in theory this year. A different preparation anyway. But I think Cloudy Dream's race fitness probably, well, not probably, I think he's at 9-4. It's worth having a look to see what that's seeing through.
Okay, so Cloudy Dream for Paddy. Let's hope we don't have one tip for each of the 3 runners here. Ted, Native River with or against?
I'd be against. I'd be tentatively with Cloudy Dream. The race is a bit of a head scratcher because, again, unlike Barters Hill, I think it'll be really tuned up for this. I get the feeling Native River and Sapphire Daru, this very much is the stepping stone for the Cheltenham Gold Cup.
Native River's never won first time out.
He's never won first time out, and he's obviously had that little setback. It's all going to, for him, it's going to be all about March. It's all going to be about 4.5 weeks' time. The thing with Cloudy Dream is still not totally convinced he stays the trip. Listening to Trevor Hemmings, it sounds like they want him to run in the Gold Cup. I get a feeling perhaps the Ryanair probably is the race for him, but I think there's definitely
They've got waiting patiently for that.
Exactly. I think there's a conflict of interest somewhat. But put it this way, Cloudy Dream has the race fitness on his side, and the ground here is going to be nowhere near as bad as it was at Aintree last time out, where he travelled all over. Definitely Red before emptying in bottomless ground. That form's taken a big boost, of course, because Definitely Red came out and hacked up in the Cotswold Chase. So with race fitness on his side, an easy 3 miles at Newbury, I'd take on returning Native River and Safford Row with Cloudy Dream.
Okay, so 2 for Cloudy River. David, what's your take on it?
You're splitting your chances there, Sam, with Cloudy River.
So 2 for Cloudy Dream. What's your view then, David?
I actually don't know, to be honest, Sam. You know, I'm always one to try and throw an opinion, but I think that the most startling aspect of this is the field. Everybody was giving out that there was no British runners at the Dublin Racing Festival. There's no bloody British runners in Britain, never mind in Ireland. They can't even find enough good horses to run in a Grade 2 chase as a Gold Cup trial. 3 runners, it's an absolute disgrace. I don't know where all the horses have gone in Britain. But, you know, we were having columns and arguments and discussions about why there was no British runners at the Dublin Racing Festival. The fact of the matter is there's not enough good horses to run. And I think that is certainly an overwhelming team of the card at Newbury. 2 3-runner races. It's really disappointing. Like, as regards this race, I genuinely haven't a clue what's going to happen. Native River, I'm not a huge fan. The fact that the Gold Cup is so open this year, he could come into the reckoning. The thing about Cloudy Dream is I'm not sure he's a certain stayer, especially at Newbury, especially the way Native River runs. I'm sure, I know it's his first run of the season, but I'm sure Richard Johnson is not going to dawdle. I'm sure he's going to try and turn it into a test to try and take Cloudy Dream out of his comfort zone in the latter stages. I'd imagine it's going to be something like this race last year, where something will travel all over Native River and he'll probably pull it out of the fire after the last on the long run in. So I don't know what's going to win the race, but if you're a punter, I would imagine the best way to go would be play in running. Maybe when Cloudy Dream is travelling all over Native River at the second last, maybe back Native River then, because I think he'd be fit enough, probably just about to win.
And do you have a stronger view on Altior then in the next, the Betfair Exchange Chase at 3 o'clock?
I absolutely do, yeah. I think come Saturday evening, I think we'll all be saying, my God, why did we not back Altior at this price? Altior is arguably, is he the best horse in training? He's certainly one of the best horses in training. And, you know, he's had the wind up. He has, like, been showing absolutely everything that he used to show at home by the sounds of things. His race course gallops have been fantastic. He is a far better horse than Politolo. Far better. I know the racing suggests he's £5 better. I think he's at least £10 better than Politolo. It's a 2-runner race. You know, there's no way Nick he'd be running Altior if he didn't think he was ready to go. And in a 2-runner race, I know Paddy Power are 8-13 Altior. I think there might even be a bit of 8-11 out there. I think he's an absolute certainty. Absolute certainty.
Paddy, do you see Altior getting shorter on the day?
I don't know. I think Henderson's kind of like been really bullish and then kind of caught himself that, actually he might be vulnerable first time out, trying to cover all his bases, I think, in the run up to this. I think he's obviously keen to get a run into before Cheltenham, but 8-13 I think probably represents his price. But Politolog, the one thing about Politolog is the way the price on it, 8-13, 6-4, and 33 Valdez. But the thing about Politolog is he reminds me of Dodging Bullets or a horse like that, where he's never going to get the credit that maybe he deserves. He's just found his trip and is kind of getting better with each run and keeps just winning what's in front of him. So I think he's a good test for Altior first time back. And I think at both at their best, Altior will be much shorter than 8-13. But I think Politolog, with a bit of race fitness, I think he's going to really put it up to him. And I think Nichols will really see this as an opportunity to poke Henderson in the eye, I think. So I think, I'd be thinking Politolog has a decent chance to turn them over.
Do you think the Champion Chase winner is in this race?
If Altior wins, yeah. Basically, I think look, if you look at the Champion Chase betting, I mean, we had Min was brilliant at Leopardstown. You got Special Tiara ran really, really well at Leopardstown, considering he'd be coming back to get better ground and everything. So, yeah, I mean, Altior wins this. It's going to improve a lot for it. He's going to be very short price for the Champion Chase. But if Politolog wins or the two of them finish neck and neck, then it makes it really interesting. You're trying to weigh up English versus Irish form. Old school, trying to weigh up the Irish form versus the English form, you know?
Yeah, since they never take each other on during the season this time around. Ted, we're split. One for Altior, one for Politolog.
No, I'd say Altior's far from a certainty. I'm in the Politolog camp here. First time back for Altior on soft grounds. Due to rain all tomorrow afternoon. Politolog's fine in a bog. He's race fit. You know, he's run a Tingle Creek. He's on fire at the moment, over 2 miles. And I think by the time the festival comes along, obviously Altior on spring ground at Cheltenham, it would be a much different story possibly. But no, I think Politolog's... it's an unknown, isn't it, with Altior? You don't quite know what Nicky Henderson's left on him with the festival in mind. And Politolog he's on fire this season. He's the one horse who's doing it. You know, we've had lots of talk about, you know, everything else that's not on the track. This is the horse that's on the track and he's winning Grade 1s. And I think at Newbury on soft ground, he's going to give Altior a good race. I mean, probably won't have a bet in the race because it's just you're guessing with Altior, aren't you? That essentially you are guessing. You don't know what's still there. But Politolog, I think, will really serve it up to him. And my plan will be Politolog to beat Altior and then back Altior for the champion chase.
Right.
That's probably the angle.
Are we really guessing though, Ed? I don't think we are guessing at all. This is not an injury or like it's a simple procedure that seems to have gone extremely well. And like I don't fall into this trap about Altior needing good ground at all because arguably two of his best performances. One was in this race last year when he beat Fox Norton by 13 lengths and he was absolutely exceptional. Politolog beat Fox Norton by a half length in the Tingle Creek and was lucky to do so. And then you go back to the race at Kempton when I think that was the last time before that he ran on soft ground the previous November. I think he won it by 63 lengths. He beat Black Horton that day. So like...
It'd be more fitness, DJ, than anything, rather than the fact he can handle the ground. Politolog will be as fit as a flea and likes the ground. Will Altior be... I can't imagine Nicky Henderson's got him 110% for tomorrow.
No, but sure, he'll only need to be like 85% fit to beat it. Wow. Politolog, and I'm sure he will be.
You better phone up the handicapper because £5 and 5% is a big difference there.
Are you telling me if at Cheltenham the Queen Mother Champion Chase was a handicap and Altior was given Politolog £5, you'd be fancying Politolog? Not a hope.
Don't think there'd be much in it, but on spring ground, I think Altior would win it. But, I mean, we're going around in circles here. I just think tomorrow, first time back, on soft ground, Politolog is the race-fit horse. You know, we've seen it before. Tank could just empty with Altior, but you know, he's priced accordingly to do so. So, you know, I'm just going to sit this one out and hope Politolog wins.
OK, let's look at the rest of Newbury. DJ, anything else on the card you fancy?
Yeah, I have my nap at Newbury, but I don't think I'm allowed to announce it until we come to the naps.
No, you've got to hold on to that for
later. In the 410. It's in the 410, so that might get people excited or not excited.
Paddy, anything else at Newbury that's not your nap?
No, just worth mentioning, I think, the bumper at Newbury could throw up a real Cheltenham contender. I don't know who it's going to be.
Brilliant race.
It looks like a very strong, very strong bumper. So I think it's one definitely to watch, and you just see what the market moves go like. I think with regards to the bumper, and just keep an eye on that with the other eye on the Cheltenham bumper, because I think you will have a big player in the Cheltenham bumper after that. Yeah,
that's the 440 at Newbury on Saturday. Ted, anything else at Newbury for you?
Not at Newbury, no, not outside those races.
Well, up next we'll be looking at Warwick. First, though, just time to announce the winner of this week's competition. This week's winner of a free £25 bet is Richard from Gloucestershire. Many congratulations to you, and there'll be another chance to win on Monday's show.